did something like strange or rare happen in the set?
Don't be scared.
We've met before.
I think that a good horror film, beyond the scaring us to death, explores or analyzes the origin, the evolution, or the transformation of evil. So would you say that The Exorcist explores that sometimes evil could arise through vulnerability?
I think that's certainly an attribute of evil, preying on the vulnerable. What I would hope is that this movie, much like Friedkin's movie, is kind of ambiguous about how evil rises and integrates into it. But I think this movie is about vulnerability. I think it's about the curiosity and opening yourself up to negative entities.
And would you say also that The Exorcist is about legacy? Family legacy, religious legacy, community legacy, and also cinema legacy.
I think it is. I think it is. I think it's about all those things.
If, like, maybe a director, a producer takes some of your movies in 50 years, takes your legacy, how would you like that director or producer approach to your story?
First of all, I'd be very flattered if that happens.
That would happen.
I hopefully they'd use the same approach that we approached with The Exorcist, which is to really revere and value and try and include as many people as are around or who want to be included from the first movie, which is what we did, but also try and reinvent so that it feels new and different and not like a copy of something that already exists.
And I think that you really made it with this. I mean, we have the story 50 years ago, but this one has like a very, very actual and modern touch twist. And I think that one of the take-ons that I was really interested in watching yesterday is that, I have always thought that the problem is not to be a religious person, whichever religion is. Sometimes the problem is religion as an institution, you know, because I think that it deforms sometimes spirituality. So would you say that this movie also analyzes the consequences that fanaticism sometimes brings to a community?
Those are big questions and big themes and things we talked a lot about in making this movie, is making sure it's not a judgment of anyone's belief. Exactly. And it's not attacking anyone's faith. It's just opening up to some degrees the similarity that a lot of the perspectives that you might have from someone that goes to a different church or is of a different mindset. Still, if we have the objective of trying to free these two innocent girls of a negative entity, we don't have to go to the same church to understand what we need to do. And then it's how do we work together, I guess, is with the conflict of the movie, is how do we work together to bring our buffet of beliefs together to expel this entity.
And this year, Friedkin passed away. But did you have the chance to talk to him or to show him like the script? Because I think it's like a very huge thing to have advice from a legend.
Yeah, for sure. I know him. I met him several times, and from the beginning of the process, we reached out to him. I reached out to him many times to see if he would be involved in any way, but he just didn't want to do it, which I was sad about.
Yeah. Actually, when I was in the movies yesterday, I realized that there are people from different generations, very young people, because you know that here in Mexico we love horror films, but also people who grew up watching this movie and really loves it. So how do you manage to create a piece that, make happy the people who love the first movie, but also the people, the young audiences, who are in love with the genre?
That's the challenge, and it's the opportunity, because I think you have 50 years of fans that have developed in generation after generation. Anytime you fall in love with movies, The Exorcist is on the list that you have to see. And so to be able to be respectful of what that is, I'm very inspired by not just The Exorcist, but a lot of Friedkin's work. Yeah. And be able to take that respect, and honor that legacy of what The Exorcist means to me, and then bringing it to fans thematically and stylistically in a way that we can invite a younger audience that may or may not have seen the original film. You don't have to. We're wanting to make something that is its own contained, satisfying story that has enough layers and levels of contemporary horror movies, but also reaches into that beautiful creation that Friedkin and Ellen Burstyn, William Peter Blatty showed us in 1973.
And I want to end my interview with a very Mexican question, because we are at like we have like a very mystic culture. We are very superstitious about everything. So when we are like in this kind of environments, we always feel like it could like actually really touches us. I don't know if you agree. Again, that's a very mystic Mexican thought. But did something like strange or rare happen in the set, taking into account that there are a lot of stories from the first movie that the cast and the crew share years later?
Yeah, and not just within the themes of the movie and the diversity of religious philosophies, but every actor, every person on the crew has their own way of looking what's above and beyond and out there. And so we had spiritual advisors and consultants, and so we'd have a priest or a priestess bless the set. We'd burn our sage. We'd cleanse the set at the end of the day. And so it was really, it was something I was always really curious about and got to learn and walk through some of those rituals, which I thought was really nice.